Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Nyanga with One Community Financial Group. Welcome to another Financial Friday. Today we're talking about 401ks. A lot of people do 401ks with their employers, and vast majority of people are forced to get into it, which is a good thing. You have to opt out if you don't want to be a part of the contribution. Helps you save for your retirement, for your later years, and that's a good thing because we have a lot of people that don't have enough money saved up for retirement. Now today we'll talk about the pros and the cons. These are the pros right here. Like I said, forced savings. The money comes out pre-tax, which is a good thing. You get your tax deferred. You're not having to pay taxes on the money right now, so you get to pay lesser taxes. And for some people, depending on how much the deduction is, it can even lower the tax bracket depending on how much your deduction ends up being. Employer match, that's huge because some employers will match you up to 6% or even 8%. And that means that all the money that you put in, as long as it's a percentage of your income hasn't gone past the 8% or the 6%, then they'll give you up to that amount. Now you can put in more, but when you put more, they're not going to match you. They'll just match you up to the max that the employer usually matches that. Accessible. You can access those funds for certain situations, and we'll talk about Roth conversions and a few things that you can do right now under the CARES Act. But just know, as one of the pros, you can borrow against that money and you can use the money now without having to wait until your retirement years. Dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is where the funds are invested in the stock market, in mutual funds, and they'll buy the funds, the stocks, whatever the fund is made up of, when the market is up and when the market is down. When the market is up, down, or level, it keeps buying it as often as you're making your contribution or as long as your employer sends it to the fund manager. So that's a good thing because you might buy sometimes when it's high, sometimes when it's low. In the long run, ends up being averaged out. Now the cons, the funds are not accessible until the age of 59 and a half. Any other time other than now when we're dealing with the CARES Act, I'll talk about the Roth conversion. Other than any other time, you have to pay taxes, and then you have to also pay a 10% penalty if you try to access the funds before the age of 59 and a half. There are few waivers that you can get, but for the most part, you end up paying the 10% penalty. Fees. These fees can add up. 60 Minutes on CBS did a piece where they showed how these fund managers, these mutual funds charge so much in fees, and a lot of them are not even disclosed. They have a way of lobbying Congress so that you don't have to disclose all their fees. The fees could be as many as 17 of them, and they could add up to as much as 3% of your portfolio. That means year in, year out, when the market is up, when the market is down, the fund managers are still getting their cut. If you have $1 million saved and you have to pay 3% fees, that could add up quite a bit. That's could take away much out of your nest egg. Taxes on the harvest. We talked about the tax being deferred, but eventually you'll have to pay taxes. Now, a lot of times by the time you end up paying taxes, a lot of people are on a higher tax bracket, so they pay much more in taxes than they would have paid if they had done that in their early working years. RMDs at the age of 72 used to be the age of 70 and a half, but the Secure Act of 2019 bumped that age to 72. Now, RMDs stand for Required Minimum Distributions. That's the point where the government says you've been putting your money away pre-tax, your money has been growing tax-free. Now is the time for you to start taking distributions so that you can pay taxes to us. So they make you have to do the distributions, then you pay taxes because the government has to get this cut somehow. Double taxation. We talk about borrowing being a good thing. It could also be a bad thing. Now, I understand that by the time you're borrowing it, you might be in a dire situation and you need the funds. So go ahead and get the funds if you need to. But just know that you'll be double taxed. What do I mean by that? What that means is the money that you're borrowing is pre-tax. That means that money has to be paid taxes for later when you withdraw it. But when you're contributing towards paying back on the money that you borrow, because that money has to be paid back anyway. When you're paying it back, you're paying it back with after-tax dollars. So that's money that has already been taxed. You're going towards paying off money that was pre-tax, and then you turn around and have to pay taxes on that money at the age of after 59 and a half when you retire, or at 72 when they make you have to do the RMDs. Market risk. the market goes up, the market goes down. No one can control the market. So you're at the freedom, the market can take away all your money. You're not at leeway to decide whether you lose or gain. So that could add up quite a bit. In 2008, the people who were retiring the years to follow, 1 or 2 years later, had to lost about 50% of their earnings because the market went down. Tax on Social Security. Now, when you start taking your Social Security, most people start taking it at the age of 62 and a half. Some people do 65 or even 70. You cannot get to choose when you want to take them. But if you're taking Social Security and at the same time you have other taxable income like your 401k income, then your Social Security is also figured when you're getting taxed. That, as opposed to someone who, say, didn't have any funds that were being taxed, maybe didn't have a retirement fund being taxed, one that was tax free, they don't have to pay taxes on the Social Security at that point. But to avoid these cons, right now could be a perfect time for you to do a Roth conversion. What do I mean by a Roth conversion? This is a point where you convert your 401k to become a Roth IRA. You pay taxes on that, yes, because you had the money was growing tax free, but under the CARES Act, due to Corona, they have waived the 10% penalty. So there's no 10% penalty even if you haven't hit the age of 59 and a half. Yes, you have to pay taxes, but they're giving you 3 years to pay taxes. So if you do it now, you pay taxes on your 2020 earnings, 21 and 2022 earnings. So you have all the way until April of 2023 for you to pay taxes on that. So this could be a good time for you to do a Roth conversion. Put that money, and because you're not withdrawing the money, if the market is, you feel the market is still not doing very well, you're not ready to cash out, you can still do a Roth conversion, leave the money in the funds that they're in at the moment, and have that grow, keep growing, and then when it gets to the right time for you to withdraw, you won't have to pay taxes. So as you can see, this might be a good time for you to do some of these things. I hope that this helps, and please subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, give us a like and share it with your friends. And until next Friday, have a good time.